never fought anybody like Bob Probert before. Probert just wanted everything he could get of him with this situation. In an 8-1 game. Minute 23 to go. You knew something was going to happen when the lineup were put out there. Probert knew right there he wanted that kid. And you want to go in the big leagues? Let's have a go.
Probert got the extra 2, but I don't know if it's for instigating.
Here's a big kid too, boy. Probert hit him right in the chest, and he corked him again right in the left side of the jaw. And that's where the linesman in there can be very dangerous.
Brashear and Probert over in front of the Vancouver bench. Here we go about it. They're talking. Brashear not a willing go right now.
Not at all.
Probert's trying to get him to go. Probert's certainly going to get an instigator here, and he's going to finally escalate into what Probert wanted all along, and Brashear finally has to oblige.
Boy, he's been very reluctant, hasn't he, Dave?
These two had a memorable go earlier in their careers when Brashear was with Montreal and Probert with the Detroit Red Wings.
Well, this is what Craig Hartsburg wanted. He talked about it. He wanted his bigger players playing as big as they can. He wanted the emotion out of the big lines. He mentioned Bob Probert, Jim Cummins. He mentioned Cam Russell. And so he's got that. Right off the hop here, not 3 minutes into the hockey game, Bob Probert challenges Donald Brashear.
Well, Don Koharski, the referee, will have the job of sorting this all out as Kevin Collins, the linesman, and Dan McCord have the difficult assignment of just sorting the bodies out and trying to get players separated. Now, there's certainly no question that Probert went over to get things started. And we'll have to wait and see how Don Koharski views it.
Already seemed to enjoy was the matchup of the big line of the Blackhawks going up against this line. Anyway, on the first glance, anyway, maybe he couldn't get them off on a line change, so it ends up that Probert comes out there afterwards. Hartsburg makes a change, and so Probert goes right over to Brashear. And, you know, in this situation, Bob Probert definitely, I mean, he wanted something to happen, and when two big guys like that.
Here, the two heavyweights crashing together near the corner. Puck still in their skates. The glove's going to stay on here. You can never be sure with Brashear and Probert. Now Brashear's helmet is popped off by Probert. Yes, the gloves are coming off as the puck came loose in front of that. Here we go with Brashear and Probert.
Well, two of the biggest in the National Hockey League. And, you know, when you look at Probert, he's willing, 33 years old, and still available.
A few years ago when he was in Detroit, he was the toughest customer in the league. And not too many punches thrown in that scrap as they're broken up. They'll each get 5 for sure. The Hawks are leading it.
Brashear and Probert way behind the play with the gloves off. Probert and Brashear now come together, two NHL heavyweights. It have been for several years. Brashear got a couple of short lefts in as he and Probert battle. Probert with an uppercut with a right. Brashear with a couple wild lefts missing. Now Brashear switching to the right, got in one or two. Probert looking to land an uppercut. And Brashear got in a good left hand. And now a couple of wild swings from each man, and they hit the deck.
Well, you could see initially that Donald Brashear wanted to get in tight and hold on to Bob Probert. Probert was setting up a little bit further away, trying to get good reach. And Brashear jumped in quickly and tried to get in tight. And then eventually, Probert tried to get loose down low and try to get uppercuts. Fight was a pretty good one. And you mentioned two good heavyweights that stood in there. Lot throwing, and eventually.
Weeks thought it was a Chicago penalty. He started out of the net for a minute. Now it's center ice. It's Brashear and Bob Probert. Brashear has dropped the gloves. Probert hasn't. He just has Donald tied up. And Brashear starts throwing them. And now Probert drops the gloves, and away we go. Probert with the right hand, Brashear with the left. Pretty good tilt here. As Brashear now with the uppercuts, and he's got the upper hand in this scrap. Linesman at a distance. Oh, and he's got Probert in trouble with the jersey up. And now the linesman will step in as Donald Brashear will get the decision in that scrap. We'll have to wait and see if he gets the extra penalty. 12:56 to go in the second period. Chicago 1, Canucks nothing.
For instigating. Now we'll see what this call is. Donald Brashear intercepts Bob Probert as Probert went after. You're going to see right here. Watch Probert turn. Oh, just earlier on than that, he cross-checked McCabe. I think he's going to go for slashing. So we'll see what they call it here.
5 minutes for fighting.
Brashear.
10-minute misconduct penalty.
So it's not a game misconduct. It's 2 for instigating, 5 for fighting, and a 10-minute.
Go. A couple of heavyweights to be sure. They just want to grab on. They don't like to box like that. Typically, the big guys grab on and then punch.
And punching is what Probert's doing right now as Brashear's helmet comes off, but Donald comes back.
Yeah, I think Probert's got a bit of a loose arm there. Brashear didn't grab his left arm. And then now he gets a right loose.
Takes Probert's helmet off and has been landing a few. Still going back and forth.
Well, these are the heavyweights, and if one of those connect, they both will feel it.
This fight has been going on for a while now. The punch is still coming. Brashear and Probert. Finally now the linesmen get in and separate them, but that was a heavyweight tilt, and you knew it was coming. They met at center ice as the puck went into the Blackhawk zone. And they had no intention of doing anything but dropping the gloves and setting the tone early.
Now, there's a lot of respect amongst big men like Brashear and Probert. Donald Brashear is a younger heavyweight. He's got to have tons of respect for a guy like Bob Probert and Donald Brashear come together. There's the start of it. You can see what happens right there. And they get together, have a chat, and say, okay, it's time to go. Bobby.
All the way to the top of the goal crease. All right, now we got the heavyweights. Probert and Brashear have the gloves off at center ice. And here they come together. Wrestling at the moment. Probert a wild right. Brashear swings with the left. Now got a left hand in Brashear. And they wrestle at close quarters. Brashear swinging away with the left. Probert can't get started yet. Trying to tie him up. Brashear and Probert. Now still wrestling over toward the boards. Probert losing his balance, and now the linesman will come in there.
Donald Brashear very strong and picks his spots. I know the last game here against St. Louis Blues, as the Vancouver Canucks played, a couple of the Blues players, Reed Simpson one, Reed Lowe another, tried to get Brashear to fight, and he wanted no part of it because of those situations during the game. But now he realizes the Canucks down 2-1. He wants a little action, maybe to motivate his team a little bit more. And Bob Probert has not fought a lot this year. Goes with Donald Brashear, lost his footing a couple of times, went to the ice, was able to get back up and tried to hold on at times. I don't think he ever got set the way he wanted to. Brashear flailed away with a left. Got in a few less, and I think this is exactly what a fighter does. He tries to pick his spots at the opportune time to help his team out. As I mentioned, did not want much of the St. Louis Blues players. Pat, the St. Louis Blues were in town, and we actually ran into a couple of guys, Mark Bergevin, believe it or not. And they were talking about that situation. Brashear wanted no part of it. I think that's good. If you're a tough guy, I think there's a time and a place, and I think he's picking his spots to try to get his team a little bit of a lift.
Got through, came back to McCarthy, tries again, and that hits some traffic in front. Now we're going to have a fight. Brashear and Probert, two of the heavyweights in the league, have dropped the gloves. Probert and Brashear. Probert got in a right, and now they've grabbed one another. Brashear trying to land some short lefts. He got one or two in as they wrestle in the Vancouver zone. Brashear missing with a right. And now Brashear got in a left. As Probert and Brashear, two big... Oh, and Brashear with a left hand loose. He got a couple in. And Probert can't get started yet in this one. They wrestle one another to the ice. And now the officials will step in. Oh, they held one another off for most of that. But Brashear might have gotten a few extra short shots in. And unfortunately for Probert, he gets better as the longer the fights go. But just as he was ready to get started back up, the officials stepped in. 3-1 Chicago. This is Chicago Blackhawks.
Je vais te conter une anecdote vite. Bob Probert, à un moment donné, il embarquait toujours sur la glace, puis dès qu'on était sur un face-off, son coach l'embarquait, puis il voulait se battre. Puis là, je me pognais pas toujours avec, mais là, à un moment donné, je me pognais toujours avec, puis là, fait que je m'embarque sur la glace, puis là, je dis, on y va. Il me lâchait pas, il m'embarquait dessus, puis jusqu'à ce qu'on se batte. Puis il me dit mot pour mot, il dit non, je le brassais le temps, il dit non, il dit t'es trop fort, il dit je vais m'entraîner cet été, puis je vais t'en pogner l'année prochaine. Il me sort ça de même. J'ai resté surpris, je m'attendais vraiment pas à ça. C'est lui, il lâchait jamais, puis c'était un dur de dur.
L'as-tu pogné l'année après?
Non.
Il s'est pas entraîné.
Ouais. Mais non, c'est ça. Je pense qu'il avait arrêté de jouer.